All right, guys, what's up? It's Russo, Backdoor Fantasy Sports. I got some NFL picks for you, running it solo. Guys, I'm just going to try to get through this video. I'm not even going to add music and do all this editing and stuff. I'm just going to try to get this out quick because I'm getting this video out super late. It is 5:37 my time right now. I just spent 5 hours at the DMV to get my license. And my Lord, I can't believe how poorly that was set up. So, and I almost wasn't able to get it. Just unbelievable. Originally from Arizona, out there, our DMVs look like mini airports, and people just fly through there. An hour is like a long, bad day at the DMV. In Arizona, when I lived out there, so out where I'm at now in North Carolina, unbelievable. 5 hours. There was like 5 people working there. There was 22 people in front of me in line digitally. It was keeping track. 22 people, and they almost didn't get to me after 5 hours. So I'm going to just try to rip through these. I got a bunch of picks for you, though. I'm just going to show you everything I made. I made 2 6-mans and 1 6-man demon. So we're going to break them all down. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell. This is not our typical type of video. Usually I have my partner Jordy with me and a little more organized, but I'm running really late today. So I'm starting with NFL. I'm going to try to get to NBA. Probably won't get to the first window of games, but I'll try to put together some picks for the later window and get that out for you guys as well. So yeah, make sure you do me a favor and like the video. My God, it's been a rough day. So cheer me up a little bit. Give me some likes and drop a comment if you have any questions. And I'll try to get through everything. But I mean, like, my brain is just scrambled eggs right now with everything I just dealt with. So I did see, both of these teams I really like a lot. Great matchup for Thursday night. So it wasn't hard for me to jump right into what I'm liking here. I'll start with the regular plays. So this is going to be my official play for the video. I'm going to be going with, and guys, I didn't even get to underdog and all that other stuff, so I apologize. I'm just going to roll prize picks today. We do have all of our partners. Use code BACKDOOR at Better Underdog Parlay Play. You'll get all of the typical deposit match stuff. For Parlay Play, you get 100% deposit match when you use code BACKDOOR. And then we're also going to give you 30 days in the Discord as well. If you use code BACKDOOR on Parlay Play, 100% deposit match up to $100 plus a $5 promo pick, promo play. You get a whole slip, $5 slip when you join Parlay Play. So, and then Better $200 deposit match, free pick to help you cash your first slip. Underdog up to $1,000 in bonus cash plus a free pick to help you cash your first slip. I'm sure you can find these plays on there as well. I'm sure I like them very similarly, especially these regular plays, because I took a lot of these demon plays on prize picks. So I apologize, it's a little bit different, but I just want to get you guys some value and get you on your way. So the plays I'm going to be going with, I'm going to be going Jaden Reed, 14 fantasy score. I'm taking this for more. I haven't even looked at DG. I just know these players very well due to fantasy football. Jaden Reed, you just never know. He has all the reasons to hit tonight. Romeo Dobbs is out. But you just never know with the way LaFleur runs this team. Sometimes he can be a decoy, so you got to think about that. But I'm going to take my chances. I want the fantasy score because there is a reality where he goes for like 3 receptions, like 30 yards and 2 touchdowns. Like he is a red zone option, especially with Dobbs out. So I like him and Josh Jacobs to be the scorers tonight. And this is a pass funnel defense against Detroit. We have a beautiful over under 52 and a half point over under playing indoors in Detroit, 3.5 point spread favoring the Lions. So I threw this prop that's been hitting for us that Jordy put on our radar. These 0.5 first quarter field goal props. They hit really often, literally like 75% of the time for us, maybe 70% of the time. We're playing indoors. This is going to be a high scoring game. I think one of these 2 kickers gets at least 1 field goal. But these kind of props make me nervous. First quarter props, you just never know. It gives me a little bit of anxiety because, you got 1 quarter to get this done. But I think that they'll be moving the ball up and down the field. This is 2 high-powered offenses, 2 somewhat strong defenses, but Detroit does allow teams to put up a lot of yards and a lot of points. Kind of like kind of like the Ravens, pass funnel. Their offense is going to have to outscore you to win the game, but their defense has some strong points for sure. Like, don't get me wrong, Detroit's a great defense, but they do a really good job against the run, and teams have to pass on them. So that moves the ball up the field quicker. So I think that one of these two kickers is going to go for 1 field goal. So that's been hitting for us. I'm going to throw that in there. Tim Patrick, 24.5 receiving yards, taking that for more. He's been getting more active. He looks much better in Detroit than he did for the Broncos. Jamison Williams has been getting after it with the receptions. Dude is a stud. He's been in and out of dealing with suspensions and injuries throughout his career, but the Lions love him. Dude is fast, super fast. So I think he can get us 4 receptions. And then David Montgomery, I'm just going to take his rushing yards over 60.5. I feel good about this. Josh Jacobs, I think, like I said, he's going to be one of the primary scoring options for the Packers. If they're within that 5, they're just going to feed it to him over and over and let him get the touchdown. So 15 fantasy score is what I'm going with. I'll just show you my demon play, and then I'll break down, because a lot of these players are the same. So for the demon play, I went with Brandon McManus over 1.5 field goals. I like this, playing indoors in a high-scoring game. A lot of times he has to win the game. He's won multiple games for them in close games. So 1.5, I think can get that done. I like that as a demon. Jaden Reed, I like him over 69.5 receiving yards demon. I think he's going to, I mean, like, it's going to have to be him or Christian Watson, and I think it might be both of them tonight. But Reed is an absolute stud. It's just whether or not he's a part of the game plan. It's just Matt LaFleur. He kind of like picks and chooses these particular games where Jordan Reed gets involved. They have a lot of different ways they can beat teams. But Jaden Reed, I think, is their best wide receiver, most versatile. Josh Jacobs, I'm going to go over this 99.5 rushing and receiving yards for his demon. Feel good about that. Again, demons are harder to hit. So, in this case, these are all, harder to hit, but you get a higher payout. So I like playing these slips. So I'm just showing you guys what I'm getting into tonight. Tim Patrick, I like him over 39.5 receiving yards for a demon. David Montgomery, I'm going to just take that 69.5 rushing yards demon. And then Jamison Williams, same thing, receptions. I'm going to bump it up 1, get that demon, 4.5 receptions. And I'll show you guys, let's start breaking down some of these, and I'll show you one more other slip I made. So Brandon McManus, if we talk about him, matchup, 16th in field goals allowed, high scoring game. There's going to be a lot of touchdowns, a lot of extra points, and there's going to be like a handful of field goals in this game. So I think he's going to get, he's good for 2 of them here. He's gone over this in 3 out of his last 5 games. In the head-to-head, the only other time they played was November 3rd, and he had 2 in that game. That game turned out to be 24-14, so not super high scoring. We'll see if it's a little different tonight. I think that was at Lambeau, though. So tonight we're playing in Detroit indoors, so a little bit of a different setup here. In 2024, yeah, so that's right. He hasn't been with the team the whole time. Got there in October, so he's cleared it 50%, 3 out of his last 6. So I think I said 3 out of his last 5. I may have had it on 5, but again, I'm just trying to rip through this, get this out for you guys. Jaden Reed. So yeah, this dude is so capable, but it's just a matter of like whether or not he's a part of the game plan. Sometimes he's just not, and they can win games without him. But he's got a great matchup here. Yeah, see, he hasn't gone over this that much. 4 out of 12 games, but he's capable of just going off. But he's also gets some rushing attempts in here and there. Hasn't been as much in the back half of the year as it was in the front half of the year. But 32nd in receiving yards allowed to wide receivers. So that's what I mean when I say it's a pass funnel. It's hard to run against these guys. Although we saw the Seahawks, we saw Kenneth Walker just go absolutely ham against them in a game that looked like it was out of reach, ended up being super high scoring. And I think he went for like 3 touchdowns, bunch of rushing yards, some receiving yards. Sorry, I had to drink some coffee after that crazy DMV experience. But yeah, if we look at the head-to-head, sorry, my computer's moving a little bit slow because I'm doing all this on one. Last time he played them on November 3rd, he went for 113 receiving yards. He was a big part of what they were doing. And then last week we saw him go for 2 touchdowns. He had a great game. So that's why I want the fantasy score. Dude's an absolute stud. It's just, is he going to pop off? I mean, teams that play against the Lions, their receivers tend to eat. So let's see, touchdowns. Come on, move a little quicker for me. 7th in receiving touchdowns allowed, like 2 wide receivers. Overall, they're tough. Number one against touchdowns allowed through the air. So it's going to be a little bit tough, but if we're taking the fantasy score, he can rush that in too. His touchdown is actually EV plus play. Like we said, we saw him go for 2 last game. And then what did he do last time he played them? We went for 113 yards. Yeah, he got a touchdown in that too. Well, no, that wasn't the same game. That was last year. So yeah, I'm good with the fantasy score. Get us that full point PPR. Get a couple receptions in here. Maybe he can pop off for some yards. But if he gets in the end zone, we're clearing this 14. And then as far as the receiving yards and the Demon, you see why I like it. Last time he played them in early November, he went for 113 yards, and the softest matchup you can ask for wide receivers. All right, moving on. Jameson Williams. I took his receptions. So let's go over to receptions because it is a little bit tough, if I'm not mistaken. Receiving yards, yeah, 7th in receiving yards allowed, but we have Jair Alexander out again, so that's their best cornerback. And then when we look at Jameson Williams over the last 3 games, he's been popping off. We have actually a little trend here where he's just been kind of trending back up ever since he had a little bit of that stuff going on, just sort of in and out of the equation here. But yeah, 4 against Jacksonville, 5 against Indianapolis, and then 5 against Chicago, which is a tough matchup. So this is also tough. 6th in receptions allowed to wide receivers, but we do know Jair Alexander is out tonight. So that softens things up a little bit. If we look at when they played head-to-head, he only went for 2. That was last year. So that was a different Jameson Williams. He was utilized differently. So I like him to go over 3.5, and I'm totally comfortable seeing him go for 5 again tonight in what should be a really high-scoring game. All right, so moving on. David Montgomery. Outlier has this EV plus for the rushing yards allowed. I was looking at the injury reports there a second ago. Let's look at the matchup. 8th overall in rushing yards allowed and 12th to running back. So middle of the road for running backs. I'm on the head-to-head right now. He's gone for 70 or 71 or more, and every time he's matched up, regardless of who he's been playing with. I'm confusing him with Josh Jacobs. Yeah, so this was all with the Lions. Like every time he's matched up against Green Bay, he's gone for at least this much. If we take a look at more recently, I know that the role has been changing. It's like you got 2 starting running backs here, so it's a little bit spotty. That last game against Chicago, he went for 88. I like him to be able to go over that 60. I think we took him for 60.5 in the regular. Let's see here. 60.5, and I think that we got the Demon at 69.5. It's just a little bit more. So not asking too much more. Yeah, 69.5. Tim Patrick, 39.5. Josh Jacobs, rushing and receiving. We'll get there. Who did I last cover? Jameson Williams, David Montgomery. All right, Tim Patrick. So yeah, this guy, I love his story. He was really starting to shine in Denver back in the day, dealt with some really unfortunate injuries. I just hate to see it because he seems like such a good dude, and he's like very physical, capable receiver, not the fastest guy, but very strong, pretty solid with yards after the catch. Somehow he gets open, being like not the fastest, but like a big bodied dude. Like, he gets open. And so these last 2 games, he's been popping off more and more. They've been slowly working him in. But yeah, he went for 55 yards against Indianapolis and then 48 yards against Chicago. 7th in, receiving yards allowed to wide receivers. Again, Jair Alexander's out. So all their defense is going to have to kind of like come up with a game plan to stop all of this offense that the Lions are going to be throwing at him. So yeah, for a Demon, I'm comfortable trying to get over 39.5 here in what should be a high scoring game. And then the regular line I feel comfortable with too. I think it was at like 26.5. So super comfortable with that one. And then so I got Tucker Kraft up here. Did I take him anywhere? Let me see. Not in the Demons. Who am I missing? Did we talk about Josh Jacobs? I don't think we did. Let me just pull him up real quick. Trusty outlier. My computer is just begging for forgiveness right now. It doesn't know what it did to deserve all this processing I'm putting it through. Bear with me. It's trying. All right, so we're going to take Tucker Craft out of here. I got like a million tabs open too, but I use all of them. Might be another good time for a sip of coffee while this is loading. All right. We're almost there. So rushing and receiving for Josh Jacobs. The matchup, overall 5th in rushing yards allowed, 25th in receiving yards allowed, like we talked about the pass funnel. 4th in rushing yards allowed, 7th in receiving yards allowed to running back. So it is tougher, but look at that. I mean, his last 10, dude's been absolutely popping off. LaFleur has been all in on him. No more talk about Marshawn Lloyd, who's a total afterthought. People are saying he's going to take some of his snaps coming into the year. No, he's not even the RB3. I think it's Emmanuel Wilson, who this has just been the Josh Jacobs show. So let's take a look at the head-to-head. So yeah, last year he went for 88. And then this year he went for 108 total yards on November 3rd. So I'm comfortable with it. They're gonna have to figure out a way to stay competitive in this game, and so I'm comfortable taking that 99.5 rushing and receiving yards for the Demon. And then we took his fantasy score in that regular line as well. And if we take a look at his fantasy score, it's beautiful. They've been just going like classic football, you know, like you're within the 5, just have your running back just go into the end zone. You know, like if we look at these last 5, he's been absolutely popping off. So I think we can get over this 15. Last time he didn't do it was against Detroit. So, you know, maybe you don't want to take this. I'm just looking at the board. I'm giving you guys a lot of plays for a single game slate, 6-man Demon and a 6-man regular. So that's the way I play. I kind of swing for the fences. So you can take any of these plays, the ones you like the best, and you can just, you know, put together a 2-man or a 4-man, or you can fade all of them if you don't like them. But I apologize. I'm kind of just getting right into the stats here. I'm not going to go through all of these plays on Daily Grind today because of the situation just running so late. But the dude has been on a heater. Let's take a look at his touchdowns before we get out of here. Where are you at? Okay. Touchdowns. Yeah, so he's gotten a touchdown in 4 out of his last 5 games. Didn't get one against Detroit. So that's part of the reason that fantasy score was down. But we saw his rushing and receiving was great. So if you'd rather take the rushing and receiving regular line, just take that. But I think I'm just going to want a little bit of everything if I'm going with a regular slip, and I'm going to do fantasy score. But yeah, I mean, like they're tough. 6th in touchdowns allowed to running backs. But I mean, it's late in the season. There's a lot of implications behind this game, playoff seeding, you know, trying to get to the top of their divisions and hold that down. So I'm gonna go with it. Prime time, you know, going into enemy territory, and you need to make a statement. You get a dub. You don't have Romeo Doubs to take those end zone looks. So I think it's going to be Jaden Reed, Christian Watson, and Josh Jacobs. But I think Christian Watson, there's a chance that he's like the 3rd man up for getting those targets, and you just never know. He's the type of player who's super talented, big athletic guy, but has a busted hamstring like every other week. So there's a chance that he might not even be able to play through this whole game. He's not dealing with anything right now, but we've seen that with these big bodied receivers like Nico Collins, like Mike Evans. You know, it's like they're these deep threats, and then they get down there and they're just overcharging overriding their engine into the red, and then they pull a hammy, and then they're out for the rest of the game. So I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm not hoping that happens. I'm just saying Jaden Reed, Josh Jacobs, they seem like the more reliable options for Matt LaFleur to deploy to try to beat this really tough Detroit Lions team. So those are going to be the ones that I go with. Those are the guys I'm most comfortable with. I will make sure I showed you everything I'm getting into. So yeah, this is that regular slip we took with the first quarter field goal in there. Jamison Williams, 3.5 receptions. Tim Patrick, 24.5 receiving yards. David Montgomery, 60.5 receiving or rushing yards. Josh Jacobs, 15 fantasy score. Jaden Reed, 14 fantasy score. I've got another one here if you don't like the way that one looks. This one involves Tucker Kraft. Took Tucker Kraft over 9.5 fantasy score. He hasn't been as active lately as far as like the red zone looks, but he is a weapon of theirs in the red zone. We got Romeo Doubs out. So, you know, maybe they do try to like get him in the end zone, which we've seen in the past. I've got that Jaden Reed fantasy score in here again. I got the Josh Jacobs fantasy score. So this is all pretty much the same. I think that the only thing I did was in case that field goal prop doesn't hit, I threw in Tucker Kraft in one of these slips as well. So there's 3 6-mans for you. I know that I didn't go through daily grind and all that stuff tonight. I'm just trying to get this out to you guys. Like I said, I'm not going to put music in the video for this one. Just going to get it out to you. And I'm going to try to jump right into some NBA picks, see if I can't get you something for the later window. But as always, really appreciate you guys tuning into the show. Let me see if my computer can open one more tab. I'm going to try to open Discord, God forbid. If you guys want to join our Discord, we do have a killer community. And you can take advantage of that Parlay Play promo. You'll get 30 days in the Discord. If my computer doesn't blow up, you'll get 30 days in the Discord. And yeah, you just got to use code BACKDOOR. You got to email us at bdfantasysports@gmail.com. And there's Straw Hat. Yeah, so you can see like we've been cashing some as a community. We do all of our research together. This is just the spot where we post our wins and kind of like a little celebration spot. I can guarantee you, I want to make sure it's family friendly, so I'm not going to go into the community chat. But everyone's been in there all day, like talking about their favorite plays. The community is the strongest resource. So if you want to just join us, like I said, you can use the Parlay Play promo. Email us at bdfantasysports@gmail.com. We need your Discord username, your Parlay Play username. We'll get you in within 24 hours. As soon as we confirm with Parlay Play that the code was used, we'll send you a link to get your free 30 days or a free month. It depends on the size of the month. You know, just give you a free month, whatever that ends up being. But if you want to skip all that, you can just go straight through Patreon. There's a link in the description. You go to the settings once you're signed up in Patreon, and then you go to connected apps, and there's an option to log into your Discord right there. That'll unlock everything for you. You can hop in the community chat. Let us know you're new. We're also on X, TikTok, Instagram. It's just at Backdoor Fantasy, or not at Backdoor Fantasy Sports, at Backdoor FS on all of those. TikTok, Instagram, X. And we have all of our personal socials in there as well if you want to follow us. But we appreciate you guys tuning in. Again, sorry the show's a little bit weird today. I'm just still getting back to reality here after getting my brain fried at the DMV for 5 hours. But guys, thank you so much. Hit me with a like on your way out if you don't mind. Let me know if you have any questions about props. Drop them in the comments. Or if you have plays that you're excited about, drop them in the comments, and the community can see what everyone's excited about tonight. And then if you have questions, I'll try to get back to you. I'm going to just get through this NBA video, enjoy the rest of my coffee. I'm going to kick back, relax, watch some football, hang out with my wife, and chill. And so I'm looking forward to having the rest of the night off. But thank you so much for tuning in. We will catch you. Hopefully I'll catch you soon for the NBA video.